You're probably not the only one who's had this problem before. You've only wanted to take video with good audio, but having a mic on top of your camera was way too big, way too bulky, until...
Oh, Jesus Christ, what is going on? What? Oh, Rode Wireless Go Gen 3. What do you want me to do? Just unbox it? Oh, okay, cool, fine. Alright, I'll unbox it and, I'll just do it at home, alright? Okay.
Now that I have it, let's see what we get in the box. Of course, there is 32-bit recording. It is available for USB devices, iPhone, iPad, iPod, and all of that stuff. The thing I do like is that it does have 32 gigs of memory on board, so I can just use it and not really care as long as I hit the record button. If the mic cuts out or the signal cuts out, I can still use it, but we'll find that out later. Like that, and then we can pull it out. That to the side. Oh, nice! It has a little latch on it. Boom. Alright, taking this out. Boom. Get your regulatory safety guides and whatnot. And the quick start guide. Boom. Alright, unlike most of their other competitors, they do come with this little baggie instead, which I personally don't like. I wished it was a hard case, but this is what we got. And this is where all the accessories would be. Alright, so we have, boom. Oh, this is the furries, just in case you got some wind, that way you get some wind protection. Got 1, 2, and ooh, we got 3 wind furries. 3 wind furry. Got 3 fur balls. You get, oh, nice, a wiping cloth. You get your regular TRS adapter. I like that it's in red, honestly. You get the outdated little thing, the lightning port, and then USB-C to USB-C. Boom. All right, let's get into the actual mics themselves. Actually, let's oh, how do you? Oh, okay. Oh, what? I remember seeing this in the materials, and instead of giving you a hard case like normal, I think the Pro ones are the one that comes with a hard case, they give you this. What is this? It's just to charge all 3 of them simultaneously. I guess it makes sense, but the thing is, like, if you have, for example, the case, right, you're gonna put all these things out, and you have the get away desk. All right, you have that, and it's just kind of lying there, and you have the USB cable, like, okay, whatever. That's not a great experience. Same with these guys. Like, okay, so what do I do? Do I lift this out? Like, is there a thing that I have to open? Do they expect me to break this, or? Yeah, that's glued in, man. That's glued in. Okay, that's not glued in. There we go. There we go. All right. Download the Rode Central to get started. So yeah, the Rode Central app allows you to connect to these things and adjust some of the settings. All right, so we got 2 transmitters and the 1 receiver. So this is the big one with the Rode logo for the receiver. Let's get these out. The middle one doesn't have a mic on it, so it's not like you can actually use it as a mic. Don't get me wrong. That would be a nice feature, but this is the one step down against the Pro. But I wish that was actually set up this way instead of the other way. That doesn't make sense. It was set up with the Rode logos up top. No, yeah, that would have been much better if it was actually just like this. All right, so we have the 2 receivers and those things. Let's see if these are easy to put on. That is the receiver. I'm an idiot. All right, cool. Oh, all right. Let's see. So okay, so these are difficult, just mostly because they are hard. Okay, so you get 2 dots. There are 2 dots over there, which are gonna line up with the 2 dots over here, I believe. And then you're gonna push that in and then twist it. Okay. All right. I'm gonna call it Steve. Looks like it's Steve. Minecraft Steve. That's Minecraft Steve. All right. Now, the nice thing is that they do have the extra wind protection, or dead cat, more like a dead bunny tail. Okay, gonna lie, more like a bunny tail. That's what it's gonna look like. You just have this nice little stoplight of, hey, here's the Rode Wireless Go. Don't get me wrong. I don't like this. I get it. I really do. But I wish it came with the case instead. Yeah, a nice little case. It could have been a soft case, but no. This is the soft case, but not like soft charging case. Some sort of other way. Okay, let's go into the receiver itself. So the receivers themselves, if you're looking at them, do have an integrated mic, which means you do not have to supply your own lav mics, which you can screw in. I believe these are the usual screw-in mics. Rode sells them themselves, and here is the power and option buttons. Let me peel this out. Okay, boom. So you get two lights. So this is the link light and the record light. The cool thing about the link light, and you can actually ensure that yes, you are recording and that it is fine. You can keep this on it for some reason. Oh, actually, yeah, they don't cover up the lights. I could have mentioned that there. USB-C port, 3.5 millimeter input. That way you can actually record it with your own favorite lav mics, or you can just put it in, kind of like that. The one thing I don't like about the Rode stuff personally is that their branding is everywhere. As you can see, it says like Rode right on there, so you can't really hide it. You just go. I don't really like it, and sometimes when you're trying to record something and having just this big logo there, it doesn't really make sense. It's not really a fashion statement kind of thing, and there are a lot of people who just see like, oh yeah, he's using a really good Rode mic, and I think Marquez are just using, what is it, DJIs now over here. All right, so taking that in, it doesn't take too much of a footprint. Of course, you can have it outside, and that is a little closer to where I would be, and it's not the worst thing. And if you really wanted to, you can just take this, you can attach a lav mic and then pocket it somewhere in the back. That way it's not too noticeable, and then you just put a lav mic somewhere over there or over here, just have one attached, which is a good thing. So you can get this, pair it here, and if I grab one of my other cameras, where did it go? All right, again, so the thing is, if you're putting it on a camera, the cool thing is it works and is the size of a hot shoe mount. You can just, technically speaking, push that through, and then as you can see, it is on there. Well, technically it's the receiver that should be doing that more often than not. So if we get the wireless Rode Go receiver in here, and it's the same size, let's grab that, you push it through. You grab the TRS cable. All right, now that it is connected, all right, so we have it connected right now, so it's nice and connected. The one thing I don't entirely like, there's no way to really tighten it. It's just like a friction mount. So if I do this, the cool thing is it doesn't fall down. It's not falling down. It doesn't. So if you're jostling around and you're in a car or something and it's shaking around, but you're like steady as all hell, like, yeah, it's not falling off. It's just okay. You know what? Fair. It doesn't fall off. The clips themselves, if I was moving this around, oh, that will fall out. So don't do that. Yeah, not worth it. Don't do it. Okay. So lucky enough, that's solid, that's fine. The clip, on the other hand, even though it is relatively stiff, it isn't very stable. So that was actually clipped on. So if you're gonna do that, you're gonna want to clip it on the inside. That way it's not gonna fall out. All right, there we go. All right, now for the actual field test of this, I'm gonna bring it outside and we'll see how it performs outside. All right, as you can see, we are now outside. We are testing this on the Trans-Canada Trail, and yeah, you can get creative shots like this where you come out of the corner, keep going towards the camera, and you keep on talking, and that's why you want some wireless mics instead of something like a shotgun mic. You might not know, but don't get me wrong, I had to walk all the way back there just to get over here. For example, right now, while it is not ideal, I do have the wireless mic moved to my chest. However, of course, you're probably not gonna realize, and you might actually realize given how the sound has changed, but I have been using a different mic for the entirety of that section of the video, especially because you can hide it by using a
actual lavalier mic because it takes a 3.5mm jack, and you can easily hide it. And as you can see, it is barely visible as I put it into my actual shirt, versus on something like this, it is very visible and very bulky. It's the only reason I don't really like the Rode stuff. And even if I put it the other way around, now it's just a glossy black that just stands out. It's the really only the reason I don't like it. It stands out a little too much. But because of the 3.5mm jack, you can add a lav mic of your choice and hide it on that person instead. But if you happen to be on trails like this, you might be hearing a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot of birds in the background. And if you're doing a lot of content, which is a lot of noise in the background, of course, you're better off looking around in the city, which we will get to in a bit after I finish this trail. As you can see, we are getting quite close to the city here, or at least to the Burnaby Mountain Park, which is the end of the trail. But like I said, this isn't quite a cityscape, and all you really hear are the birds in the background. So let's actually get to the mountain, and hopefully it's windy so you can see the wind rejection of the actual mic itself. And you're going to compare that to the lavalier mic that I have attached, and of course the actual mic, the actual wind furry and its performance. That is a slug. I do see slugs normally across Canada, but it's been the first time I've actually seen one on this specific trail. Alright, so we're now at the view of a Burnaby Mountain Park, but unfortunately it's not as windy as I hoped it would be. But what I can do is I can blow into the mic a little bit. So for example, this is the lav mic. You probably hear that a lot. Meanwhile, on the other side, the one with a little bit of the dead cat on it, they aren't quite as bad. But at least we have a nice view. And if you're wondering how a shotgun mic performs, this is how a shotgun mic performs on the ZV-E1. This is the DD S Mic 3, but of course I'm not using the lavs anymore, so the farther I get, the worse this actually sounds. And the closer I get, the better this tends to sound. Of course, there are children in the background, as you can probably hear. It is probably not as apparent as my voice, but that is the pro of having a directional mic instead of an omni mic, which, of course, yes, I don't have it on me, but instead of an omni mic, which picks up all of the sound. You're relying on something called the noise to information ratio. In other words, you want your voice to sound louder than the noise in the background, but the noise in the background does add some sort of ambiance. At this point, let's head to the city proper and see how it does there with a lot more of the wireless interference, with a lot of people, with a lot of devices, and see if it affects the recording that much. Now that we're in the city, you can hear all of the city noises, and we can see how the mics perform in this scenario. Of course, it is a wireless mic, so if you have something like a cameraman, that would be a much better scenario. And we're going to test out how the mic sounds with the actual inbuilt microphone and the lav mic. So this is what it sounds like if we are using the built-in microphone, and this is what it sounds like if we're using the lavalier mic. However, you have to make sure that you are actually talking in the direction of the mic, because if you talk away from it, from the lav mic, chances are you're not gonna get a good sound recording. Why did I stutter in that section? That is so weird. But at least you get a chance to know exactly what it sounds like if you have a bunch of noise in the background. All right, anyways, let's head over to the office and find out what it actually sounds like in the recording software. Editing software? All right, we're back in the office, and I've edited up to the point where I said I would be going back into the office. However, I did find it quite ironic that when I was talking about having issues with wireless interference, there was wireless interference. And I'm not joking, there was wireless interference. Here, take a look. With a lot of devices, and see if it affects the recording that much. Yeah, that one section, luckily, I actually had the 32-bit recording to fall on, because I use that over here in that same section, but I use the 32-bit internal recording instead. So that's the mic we have here. Unfortunately, it was a hassle to actually line up a lot of this footage, even though I had snaps right before and after in order to align it properly. One of the reasons for this is because it doesn't have timecode. Timecode allows me to create a timecode signature, which will allow it to keep in sync regardless. One of the other things I found out doing all of that recording is that I keep forgetting to hold the record button. In other words, I don't have a recording for each and every one of these sequences, and also, I keep forgetting to stop the recording. But because there is 38 gigs, you can actually record for a long time. Hopefully, you don't forget before the end of the day, otherwise you are scrubbing through footage. One of the few things I also did is I used multiple mics. For example, right now, I'm actually using this mic from the Rode NTH connected directly to the transceiver because the transceiver can actually take mic input. However, here's the weird part. It works as a headset, but only for monitoring. So attached to the Mac here, I'm actually not able to listen to what I'm listening to here because I have to have an IAM plugged in underneath my headphone just to be able to listen to the actual audio. Hopefully, Rode can make a firmware update that will allow it to be used as a full headset when connected to a computer, let's say a Mac, and then I can use the headset as a headset, not just as a monitoring headphone. It's been a couple of days since then, and I've had some time to dig into the Rode Wireless Go Gen 3. Here is what I learned. First off, mic placement is important, but even without proper mic placement, you can get good results. You might have noticed that during the mic samples that I boosted the audio in post. This is because I was mostly speaking towards the camera and often away from the microphone. It's easy to forget proper mic placement and technique when you're in the middle of shooting, which is why a lot of YouTubers, me included, either hold the mic directly in front of their mouths or clip it to the middle of their chest. Despite not having proper mic placement, the sound still sounds good boosted in post, which makes it somewhat beginner friendly. If you want any mic to sound its best, check out the article on SoundGuys.com in the description. And we'll be working on an updated video for the microphone placement guide that will include wireless mics, so subscribe to catch it when it comes out. The features on the Rode Wireless Go Gen 3 that I didn't touch on while using it out and about mostly have to do with the settings in the app. While the receiver has a screen, it uses buttons to go through the menus. It's not the worst thing, but if you're having issues seeing the options or getting confused what the options mean or the button layout, you can connect the receiver directly to your phone to get a larger UI with the Rode Central app. Whatever you set on the Rode Central app will apply directly to the receiver. In the app, as long as you have all three of them turned on, you'll have the options for the receiver side and both transmitters. One of the features you can enable but I didn't use was the safety track feature, until right now. The default is split mode. If you apply the safety track feature, it will be indicated on the receiver with the blue shield icon. In safety track mode, you get a second channel of audio 10 decibels lower than the main channel. However, this also merges the audio of both transmitters to the receiver. Merge mode is what I used in the wind test section, where you can hear both mics on a single track. Why would you want this if you have two separate mics? That's because in split mode, each transmitter is dedicated to the left or right channel. For video, this is preferred as you can adjust and separate both tracks in post, including fill left with right and vice versa. If you're doing something like IRL streaming, that's where merge mode comes in handy. If you happen to be using split mode in IRL streams, it would be confusing since you could only hear one person on the left-hand side and the other on the right-hand side. Remember, the split, merge, and safety features to the audio is on the receiver side, which means you can still rely on the onboard recording to have a split track. Although this does make it hard to find and match the recorded audio to the video in post. The Rode Wireless Go Gen 3 does have some features that help you be more efficient in post. There is a method to help find important sections and sync up the recorded audio with your video, but it isn't enabled by default and it isn't as convenient as timecode. Going back into the Rode Central app, swipe into the transmitter and go into the device tab. You can configure the Rode button to create a marker instead of muting, making it easier to find audio that you're looking for instead of scrubbing through the audio until it matches with a video, assuming you even remember to hit that button. On the audio tab, unlike some of the competitors, there isn't a noise cancelling mode, but you can apply a high-pass filter directly on the recording to save you some time in post. It's a feature I wouldn't use since I prefer the flexibility to add the high-pass filter in post. The always recording feature is another feature I don't see myself using, but I think it could be improved. In always recording mode, as as long as the transmitter is on, it will start recording internally. Great if you're like me and remember to turn on the mic, but tend to forget to hit the record button. It would have been nice to have an option where it automatically starts recording when the receiver turns on, just like how the receiver can automatically turn on when it recognizes your camera turns on. Hopefully, you get your recording done before you run out of the 7-hour rated battery life. All that said, should you get the Rode Wireless Go Gen 3? It's hard to justify given the other options, including Rode's own Wireless Pro. For about $100 more, you get time gold capability, a charging case, 2 lavalier mics, and 2 magnetic clip attachments. If those don't make a difference to you and you'd rather save the $100, absolutely. The Wireless Go Gen 3 still makes sense. But for reference, a standalone Rode Lav Mic 2 is $80, and a charging case for the Wireless Go Gen 3 is $99. Okay, quick correction, it is $89, not a $99. It's a $10 difference, but not too big. So that's $179 if you're planning to upgrade as you go, and you still don't have timecode capability. At that point, get the Rode Wireless Pro instead. If you're in the Rode audio ecosystem, it can still make sense as the Wireless Go Gen 3 is compatible with the Rodecaster Pro and the Duo. If you're a streamer or podcaster with either of these, you can connect them directly. However, if you're more of a video shooter, there are more convenience-focused wireless mics like this one, which makes it easier not to think about it in post, aka in editing / is easy to record and post.